I'm here at the Keyshot booth at Siggraph2016 with Thomas, and this is Thomas. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Excellent, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm here to talk about Keyshot.
That's great. That's what
I'm
selling you.
I hope I'm in the right place.
Yes, you are.
Awesome. So tell us about Luxion, what you guys do, and Keyshot as the product, and kind of where you guys are, version you're at, what you're offering, what's unique about it, and
sure.
I'll ask you a bunch of questions.
All right, no, that
Cool.
sounds good. Now, Luxion is the makers of Keyshot 3D rendering application. What sets it apart from all the other rendering solutions out there is, first of all, everything happens in real time.
Right.
Second of all, super easy to use. And third of all, it's super fast. So you get the great results in super fast fashion.
Yeah.
And of course, another thing that sets Keyshot apart is, of course, rendering. When you're in the rendering space, you first of all, you have to have a good renderer and create good images. That's a given. Otherwise, why are you even competing in that space? But the other thing where we actually spend a lot of time on is getting the workflow down, right? I mean, we offer with our tool, and that was kind of when we set out, when we started in 2010, what we invested in was our import pipeline. Whether we develop it ourselves or we license technology, that really is kind of almost like our bread and butter. And today, we have over 20 native import formats that we're actually supporting, but we also have plugins to the major CAD applications, as well as also these, call them entertainment products, Maya, Max, Cinema 4D, and of course, Pixelogic ZBrush, right? And that really brings us here as well into the entertainment market. Traditionally, we started out in the like product design, engineering, and just gradually over the years kind of tapped into that engineering market. But now with this integration between Keyshot and all these other applications, it is really now a tool where entertainment folks have an ability to just quickly crank out their concepts and visualize their content in Keyshot.
And the nice thing about this, I found at least, is that it's so quick and simple, is that you don't have to learn the whole, like, I need to learn rendering as a thing. Right. You could be a modeler, you could be a sculptor, and just really just go in there, put your stuff, and start looking and visualizing all these things, doing variations.
Right.
I think that's super important where people are studying materials and colors and lighting, and not having to be like a technical guru behind the tools. And I think that's, I believe at least one of the things that Keyshot got right is it's so simple, it's so streamlined. They think about the user from in terms of like how the usability of the product rather than all the feature sets of every single little button in the world. And I like some of the things that they show is like, you hover your preset and it previews before you commit. I mean, even those simple little things makes a difference in a person's life, because you're doing this for a long time on your computer, right?
Exactly.
Just staring at these pixels.
That's exactly it. It's just the interactivity. The drag and drop, dragging on the materials, dragging on the lighting. So when we first had like version 1, for example, you couldn't even like texture map. It was like, how can you put a renderer on the market without texture mapping, really? It's just predefined everything, the materials that we delivered to you. And you had to actually, couldn't do it in an editor and so forth. But our idea was really just keep it extremely simple. It's that instant gratification, because you don't want to have to think, like you said, have to think about rendering like you do when you come from all these other tools.
Yeah, and the speed that comes in, I think because of this, a lot of times you are willing to sacrifice features due to speed.
Exactly.
Because people like to iterate and just move fast. I think it's got more weight to that than to like, oh, I need to support fur for a 50K render or something like that. There's more people worried about speed than there are people worried about that one specific feature. And I think I was talking to you about this earlier, is that it's a lot harder to say no to features, but it's more important probably in our industry because you want the tool to really streamline what it does already and what's available. And I think that's one of the things you guys do really well.
And really, I mean, now we're on version 6 or 6.2. Of course,
with a bunch of new features, but I do think that you guys integrate features a lot better than like a technical rendering engine, because you've spent time, I'm guessing, you spent time, got feedback from designers and users about how to properly put this into the system.
Well, and it's important when we put new features in, what we always remind ourselves is, our target audience is not the expert.
Right.
Because it's not the guy who grew up in Maya or Max or Cinema 4D.
Right.
No, it's the casual guy, that actually the guys that wouldn't render in the past because it was just too complicated.
Right.
And that's really, now we're planning for version 7, we're sitting down and we're thinking about how do we best implement a feature that might be an advanced feature, but we don't hit the people that they don't necessarily need that, or maybe we just, the casual user is just being guided into that more advanced feature or feature set.
Like the nodal material editor. I think it's a great
exactly.
example of
yes,
something
exactly.
that you guys
Material
have
graph,
done.
right?
Yeah,
if you expose it right from the beginning, I just lose my 90% of my audience.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
But with that, actually, just kind of it's hidden, but it's there. So we call it like a progressive design, like progressive complexity.
That makes sense. Yeah, you want to feel out what's the best thing for the user, as opposed to just giving.
Exactly. When you walk around the booth, and this is also, especially like newer people that come to the company, and I keep telling them, hey, show less of the interface. Don't open up, you don't need the geometry editor open and the material library and your project window.
Keyshot.
No, exactly.
Which is what it's about.
It's the 5-button user interface that we, just follow the buttons on the bottom of the screen, and that gets you here. And that's really, that's how we sell the software still, day in, day out. It doesn't matter where you're coming from, whether you're a novice, you have never rendered in the past, or you're that expert user that's coming from Maya, Max, or wherever else.
Yeah. That sounds good. Awesome. Well, thank you for telling us about Keyshot.
Thank you so much.
You want to talk about? Or are we good?
Well, of course, if you haven't tried Keyshot, you do that on our website, www.keyshot.com. Try it out for 15 days, and you get access. The nice thing about the trial, it's a fully functional trial. You get access to also all the plugins, which are free, by the way. Give it a try, 15 days, and if you have any questions, there's also a bunch of tutorials, a bunch of videos, everything online.
Great.
Give it a try.
Awesome. Thank you.